to the Emo Hour, your weekly power hour of all things emo and adjacent, with your hosts, Katie and Nani.
Hello and welcome to the Emo Hour. I'm your host, Nani, with my good friend, Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hi, and Merry Christmas.
That was the most beautiful Christmas greeting I've ever gotten in my entire life.
Oh my God. Would you guess that I was not in all city choir?
Oh my God. I can't remember if we talked about me being in All City Choir on the podcast or on the radio show, but
Yeah. I think it might have only been on the radio show.
maybe it was, and Katie loves to make fun of me now, which is so funny because my longest, bestest friends also all make fun of me about All City Choir. But I was going through no time like the present to go through like family memorabilia because it's the holiday season. But I came across this blue ribbon that was from All City Choir, and I took a picture and sent it to Katie, and she immediately knew what it was. Didn't even have to say anything.
I mean, I just want to be clear that I'm not making fun of you for being in all city choir. The reason I'm making fun of you is because we went to karaoke night and you were like disappointed in your performance because you were in all city choir. I was like, okay, let's relax.
Oh, it sounds like me.
Yeah.
Sounds like me.
So anyway, welcome to the Emo Hour. We are going to do a super short episode today. This episode is coming out on Christmas, but we still wanted to come on and say hi and wish our listeners a very Merry Christmas and do just kind of a shortened version of the usual. So I hope you are enjoying your Christmas or whatever holiday you're celebrating around this time of year, and hope you're with, loved ones, and you're probably emo in some ways, and maybe you're listening to some emo music as well.
And maybe you're listening to the playlist that we created. Have you forced your family into listening to it yet? Because you did say you were going to do that on the last episode.
I haven't done that yet, but as of recording, it's not yet Christmas Eve. So I will definitely be playing it when we get to our destination with everyone around, and they can deal with it,
Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good.
But yes, we should plug that. We made a playlist on Spotify that you can find, and it's called the Emo Hour Christmas Playlist, and it's a lot of emo and pop punk and other types of covers of Christmas songs and other just Christmas and other holiday themed songs in the emo style. So if you're like me and you're not necessarily the biggest fan of Christmas music, it's a good alternative.
Yeah, and the word is alternative. Like I'd call it alternative Christmas music because it's alt rock, it's emo, it's all the stuff.
Yeah, there's some Weezer on there. There's some Jimmy Eat World, which are not the most emo, but they're kind of under that umbrella. But alternative is a better description for that for sure.
And you just talked about two songs that I love.
Yes, your recommendations from last week. So anyway, let's just get into it. So
Yeah.
Nani, what's making you emo this week?
Yeah, so we live in Sun Valley, Idaho, which we've talked about many times before, and Christmas season here is pretty spectacular. It is a small, quaint mountain town at the base of a ski mountain, and it has a lot of legacy in Hollywood. And this town originally was created, and it was a kind of a go-to place for a lot of Hollywood's A-list stars back in kind of the golden age of Hollywood. And so they built this train. Was it the Union Line? I think it was, or the Pacific Union that created this train line. You could ride it from California and come all the way up directly to Sun Valley and have just like the most magical time in the mountains. And so people, Marilyn Monroe and all the big kind of stars at that time, they were coming up here all the time. And so there's this huge legacy of Hollywood here. And we still have a huge legacy of Hollywood, of music industry, of a lot of those things. And so you would never know it, but you might run into somebody super famous. And I guess we kind of made mention to that on last week's episode around Tom DeLonge and Mark Hoppus, both having places here. So it's not the strangest that we've got a lot of entertainment.
Yeah, and I
And
just want to say there's like I mean just to piggyback off of what you're saying, there's so many like the most famous of the famous spend time here. I mean, and when I say that, I'm thinking like Bruce Willis, Demi Moore, Tom Hanks, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like there's some of the like A-list stars of the A-list that are here. So
yeah.
that's where we live.
It's a really wild place that we live in, and
Yeah.
it's magical. It's amazing. It's also it can be difficult sometimes because small towns can be difficult, but really, it's just like such a special place that we get to call home. But the reason I'm bringing all of this up is because I had one of those Sun Valley experiences yesterday, and it was so amazing. And so we all probably love and know the movie Dumb and Dumber. Dumb
Of
and Dumber was,
course.
right, like one of the most iconic movies of all time,
Yes.
and one of my favorite movies of all time. And the creator, it was two creators, brothers, the Farrelly brothers. Bobby lives here, and Bobby so he creates movies. He created Dumb and Dumber, and and then there's another actor, Hayes MacArthur, who's a comedian. I should say, I think his roots stemmed in comedy, and he's kind of more of a comedic actor. But the two of them joined forces for a movie with Jack Black and with, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the gal's name, but she's in that show, Ginny and Georgia on Netflix. She's the mom.
Yep. I know
And
who you're
it's
talking
this
about.
yeah, it's this movie called Dear Santa. And so Dear Santa came out on Paramount Plus a couple weeks ago. I learned that it is the most successful and the biggest streaming movie that Paramount Plus has ever had. But
Wow.
yeah, I know. Bobby told me that, and I was like, "Oh my God, how cool is that? That to have, I think it was his first film on Paramount Plus, and to have to have all of those things happen for this movie is just so cool. Because he also, the filming of this movie, Bobby also found the person that he's in love with, and so this
Mm.
movie has so much meaning to him in particular, but it's called Dear Santa, and it stars Jack Black, this young actor who was amazing in it, and Hayes MacArthur, who lives here, who's married to Ally Larder, who's in Landman. She was also in Varsity Blues, a bunch of other stuff, but she lives here as well. Again,
Legally
oh,
Blonde.
yeah, Legally Blonde. This whole like lineage of Hollywood actors is just wild here. And anyway, so what's making me emo is we went to this screening of Dear Santa, and I hadn't seen the film yet. You need to see it. It is so good. It's so heartwarming. It's so funny, and it just really brought me into the Christmas season. And it was kind of the exact thing that I needed. I've had three really wonderful nights in a row. We went and saw A Christmas Carol, a live production of A Christmas Carol, which our friend was in, and she did such an amazing job. Annabelle. I can use her first and last name because she's an actor, but Annabelle Lewis, she was just so amazing. We've seen her in a ton of productions. So I did that, and then we did some Christmas parties, and then we ended this amazing weekend with this movie that I'd been dying to see, but it was so special because Bobby was there, Hayes was there, Allie was there, a bunch of the Sun Valley Suns, which is our hockey team. A fun little fact, Bobby Farrelly puts the Sun Valley Suns, or at least Sun Valley Suns merch in all of his movies now. And
Yep.
so some of our friends who are hockey players for our local hockey team, like Niels was in it, Nick Curry was in it. All of these Sun Valley Suns players were in the film during this Post Malone concert that's within the film. It just was the coolest experience, and we're all watching it together. All of these people were in the same theater watching it, and it was a private screening. So it's too bad because I think that if they were to be screening it daily, it would be a huge turnout. But I think because the rights are with Paramount, they have to just leave it on Paramount unless it's a
Mm.
private screening. But man, it was so fun. I wish you would have been here for it.
Ah, that sounds so cool. And I have noticed that with his movies that there's, maybe it's a Sun Valley Suns poster in the background or somebody's wearing a hat or something, and it's always fun to see. Especially, I've been living in Sun Valley now for 7.5 years, so it's not something that I knew growing up watching those movies. But and I don't know when he started doing that,
I
but
asked
it
him that
is fun to
question.
see.
I asked
Sorry,
him
what was that?
I asked him that question last night, how long he's been doing it. And he thinks it started with Shallow Hal, which was
Okay.
oh wait, maybe it wasn't Shallow Hal, maybe it was Hall Pass. That's what he was going back and forth between Shallow Hal and Hall Pass. And I have to tell you this quick little story because it was just so exciting and it relates back to my music industry experience. And that is Hall Pass was one of like the first movies that an artist I was working with, this band called the Black Angels, I was doing day-to-day stuff for them. And it was one of the first instances in which the band that I was working with had like a big sync in a film. And when I realized that last night, I was like, oh my God, how cool is that? Like one of my first experiences was with Hall Pass. And then I'm standing here with I didn't even know that Bobby made Hall Pass. So I like had a little freak out kind of like, oh my God, what is the world? It's so small. It's so cool. So
Yeah, that's wild.
I know. So, but anyways, that it sounds like it's been going on for about 15 years is my understanding.
Yeah,
So,
Hall Pass came out in 2011.
yeah. And so he probably started creating that a few years prior. They say like the average time for a movie from like idea to completion can take about 10 years because the writing of the script and all these things. So I don't know how early he started working on Hall Pass, but he said that Dear Santa was a 12-year experience because it started with this log line, essentially, like the quickest way to explain a movie is kind of what they call a log line. At least that's my understanding of it. And for Dear Santa, it was a young kid wants to write a letter to Santa, but he has dyslexia. And so instead of writing it to Santa, he writes it to Satan.
That's emo as shit.
I know. And so the whole movie is like it's about this kid thinking he wrote it to Santa, but it's actually Satan, and Jack Black is Satan and Santa. You have to watch it. It's so good.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
it's so hard. Or you have to watch it with your family while you guys are together. It's so awesome.
Okay, Paramount Plus. I will check it out. I think my in-laws have that streaming service. So,
And you're gonna see
um,
Nick. You'll see Nick Curry. You'll see a bunch of the Sons. It's so cool.
was
You'll see
Grimes in it too? I feel like Grimes was in it.
uh, I
Derek Grimes?
Yes, I think yeah, he is. Oh yeah, that's Laura's husband. Duh.
Yeah.
Yes, he was in it. He was there last night too. The funniest, they're in a lot of the scenes at the Post Malone concert. So when you're watching, you have to look at the people that are like dancing in the background behind the main actors. It's
Right.
all Suns players. Neil's dad is in it.
Oh, that's
It's
so funny.
it's so cool. It's really fun.
Gosh. Well, I wasn't really planning on saying this, but I feel like I should. I mean, that's a great story. Great Christmas themed story too, and I'm excited to see that movie. But it just reminded me a couple weeks ago, I was talking to one of the players on my hockey team about the first time I ever scored a hockey goal. And it was at the very last game of my first season of playing hockey. And I told her, I was like, yeah, very last game. And it was the day after I found out that I was pregnant. And Pauly Shore was there.
This
And
sounded
she
so weird.
and she was like, that sounds like a dream that you had. I was like, I know, but you were just talking about how, it's a very interesting and special place that we live in because we have these interactions with celebrities. And Pauly Shore is like always going to be part of my like memory of finding out when I was pregnant because he was there at my hockey game the very next day.
Oh my God, that is wild. I didn't even know Pauly Shore came here. That's so funny.
Oh yeah, well, and we had gone to he came here and did a stand-up show. He has a good friend that lives here, and that good friend was on my hockey team.
Oh,
So that's why he was there. But he came and did a stand-up show. We went to it the night before, or maybe 2 nights before I found out I was pregnant. And then he came to the game, and we took a team picture with him, and he's just always going to be part of that story,
that's
which
so
is
rad. That's
bizarre.
Yeah, that's also the thing is like people are so chill here, like we don't really care. And so I feel like celebrities like coming here too because it's like the last, I don't know, the last thing that we could care about. Unless, unless Katie were to run into Tom DeLonge or Mark Hoppus.
Cross my fingers. Well, and okay, now I'm going to say this too.
Yeah.
Shortly after I moved here, which would have, I think it would have been like probably summer of 2017, I was just walking around in town and there was some like live music or something happening at the park, and I stopped and hung out for a little bit, and I saw this man and this woman, and I was like, that looks like Mark Hoppus. But I was like, no, there's no way he's here. Nope, there's no way. And I didn't know at the time that they own a place here. So,
Oh my God,
and
so you have seen him. You
I
just
have seen it because, yeah, in retrospect, 100% it was him. I just didn't realize it
You're like,
because I
there's no
didn't
way.
know how connected he was to the area at the time.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
You
because I
want to
was
know?
new to town. I just didn't know. So I haven't had a ton of celebrity sightings or interactions yet, but it seems like they're happening more and more. And those are the two that popped in my head.
And that I just have to add on to that just a tiny bit, which we're totally we're going all over the place here, but it's emo themed, so we have to say it. But I later found out that so Mark and Tom, they weren't on speaking terms really, or they weren't,
Right.
they were kind of in their other era, if you will, of the band and or the lack thereof the band, and they both unknowingly came to Sun Valley, started spending time in Sun Valley, but they weren't talking to each other and
Right.
they didn't have their relationship. How wild is that?
Yeah,
Like,
weird. So
of all the
weird.
places in the world, separately, both of them went to the same area. And now we all know that the band's back together. Their relationship is fantastic, and they're doing and achieving all the things that the band deserves and the fans deserve too. Like everybody's so happy that they're back together. I just think it's so interesting that Sun Valley's kind of at the center of their relationship as well.
Yeah, it's a very special place. If
I
you have a
love
chance to come visit, please do, but it's also very busy, so maybe not.
it. I know. We have a little slogan that goes, Idaho sucks, don't go there.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Because
Iowa? Are we in Iowa?
yeah,
I
we're
don't
in
know.
Iowa. We're definitely in Iowa.
There's definitely some gatekeeping happening, and people will go to beautiful backcountry places or go on hikes to lakes and post on Instagram their location, like somewhere in Iowa.
Yep. That's,
So,
like
but
as a joke.
it's a beautiful and special place, and I'm very grateful to be living there.
Look at us just being
Um,
grateful Christmas holiday girls. Well,
yeah, but
I know that we were gonna kind of switch it up this week and just do a me saying what's making me emo, and I love that you chimed in on it. Did we want to talk about anything else before we hopped into your emo lyric of the day? Because we were wanting to keep this short and sweet.
I don't think so. Just we're next week we're planning on doing a recent news update for the month of December. So that's kind of our plan moving forward is probably either, end of the month or very beginning of the following month to do kind of an update on news. And there's been some cool things happening. We just don't have time to talk about it today. So our next episode will come out on New Year's Day,
Yep.
and it'll be a little bit of a recap.
Yeah. All sorts of emo happenings, industry buzz, all that good stuff. Just fun music news, we'll call it.
Fun music news.
Fun
So
music news.
I will share my emo lyric of the day, which is from the song You'll Shoot Your Eye Out by Fall Out Boy, which is a Christmas themed song that I had kind of forgotten about until recently, but I love it. It's such a great song. I hadn't listened to it in just a long time. And it's a
You
long one.
can I
It's a
ask
very long lyric.
can I ask you a question before you read it? Because what's the title of it? You'll shoot your eye out?
Yeah, but it's spelled Yule. Like you'll shoot your eye out, but
Ooh,
it's Yule. But
as
you'll
in
shoot your eye out, is the line from that famous movie, A Christmas Story, and about the boy that got the BB gun that did shoot his eye out, which is just a classic, great Christmas movie. It's a long lyric, but I think it's worth it, and I think it makes sense for today. It's Christmas. So the song is "You'll Shoot Your Eye Out" by Fall Out Boy. And the lyric is, the gifts you're receiving from me will be 1 awkward silence, and 2 hopes you'll cry yourself to sleep, staying up, waiting by the phone. And all I want this year is for you to dedicate your last breath to me before you bury yourself alive.
Can you read that again, please? I need to
Yes.
hear it one more time.
I feel like I need to sing it, but I'm an awful singer.
No, don't feel like you need it. You're fine. Don't sing it.
Like, it's hard. This one is really hard to read without doing like the tempo though in my head. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay,
Do you want
I'll
me
try
to read
again.
it? You want me to read your own lyric to you so you can hear it from my perspective?
I don't know. Maybe. Should I sing it?
I mean, I think you should if you want to.
Okay, I'm going to do it and I'll read it and then you read it. The gifts you're receiving from me will be 1 awkward silence and 2 hopes you cry yourself to sleep, staying up, waiting by the phone. And all I want this year is for you to dedicate your last breath to me before you bury yourself alive. Don't come home for Christmas. You're the last thing I want to see underneath the tree. Merry Christmas, I could care less. How was that?
Oh my God. No, thank you.
Did you just say no thank you?
I love you so much. But I have the hardest time with people singing a cappella, which is why I'm so hard on myself at karaoke. Oh my God. That was so amazing. Thank you for your gift.
But did you just say no thank you at the end of it? That's what that's what we're teaching my daughter to say. Like,
Oh
instead
my
of yelling, just say no thank you.
God. Oh my God, my cheeks hurt from smiling so hard. As you were singing, I was just like I was like frozen in a state of just like the biggest smile on my face and trying to listen because I get so like I get caught up in singing. I don't know why. I am who I am.
Oh, it's really bad, and I don't have a good voice. I know that, and I wasn't even trying very hard. And if
That
I
was
tried harder, it
amazing.
would have been a little bit better, but not really.
That was the best. Okay, can I read it back to you?
Yeah, do you know where it starts?
You said the gifts you're receiving from me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious how you'll take this. So the gifts you're receiving from me will be 1 awkward silence and 2 hopes you cry yourself to sleep. Staying up, waiting by the phone, and all I want this year is for you to dedicate your last breath to me. Before you bury yourself alive, don't come home for Christmas. You're the last thing I want to see under the tree. Merry Christmas. I could care less.
Isn't that so good?
It's so emo and mean. Before you bury yourself alive.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, and
my
that's where I ended the first lyric, but then when I was singing it, I had to do more.
Christmas, yeah. Oh my gosh. I wonder what it's about. Probably like a breakup.
Oh yeah, definitely about a breakup. And first few lines I almost read as my emo lyric, which are, "These are your good years. Don't take my advice. You never wanted the nice boys anyway." Which I
Oh
take it to
yeah.
mean like, yeah, they're breaking up, and he's just like, "I'm good for you. I've been trying to help you. You know, I'm a nice guy, but like you just go on and make your bad decisions and go ruin your life, basically."
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I didn't even know the song existed. Thank you for making this your emo lyric of the day because this is a gem.
Yeah.
This is an absolute gem. I'm gonna go listen to it once we're
Well,
done.
yes, you should. Actually, I should thank our friend and loyal listener, Katie, who, when we posted on Instagram, "What's your favorite emo Christmas song?" she suggested this one. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about it. But I love it. I mean, I know it by heart. I just hadn't listened to it in years.
That's right, and she's such a big Fall Out Boy fan. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah, that tracks. That totally tracks. Hi, Katie. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Um,
So, sorry that you had to listen to my singing, but I just truly, maybe it's because it was a longer lyric. I was having a hard time reading it without and not singing it. Like, you know what I mean?
I do. And for me, when you started saying the lyrics, I thought it was going to be like the on the 10th day of Christmas, my true love, because when he says one
Yeah.
awkward silence, two, I thought he was going to start counting like and I was going to hear three, four, five, whatever.
Yeah.
So that
That would have
yeah,
been way
that
too long.
it would yeah, well you said it was a long lyric, so I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that's it. So go listen to You'll Shoot Your Eye Out by Fall Out Boy. We'll make sure that that's on our Christmas playlist if it's not. Actually, I'm going to check that right now.
yeah.
But it's such a great song.
Yeah, I'm gonna go listen to it right now. Is there anything else? Oh, there's one more thing I think we want to say, isn't there, before we sign off for this week's pod? Do you know what I'm thinking about?
I don't.
Well, all I will say is we do have new information on the missing Barbie ornament. And this new information on the missing Barbie ornament, something that we're going to hold close to our chest, I think, for a second. We do I think we have a plan, and we will have an update for the listeners soon, which I realize that we are taking this thing very seriously. But in light of the recent news, I think you're all going to be shocked.
Shocked. This is becoming a true crime podcast.
The saga continues.
We're doing some investigative journalism here. But yes, this is a message. This is a special secret message to our very good friends. And we know who you are, and we're
We do.
watching you.
We are.
And, sleep with your eyes open.
Oh my God. Well, we'll have an update on the Barbie ornament here probably on the next podcast or maybe the one after that. But hopefully we can close the case for good. But we're getting one step closer to answers, if you will.
We are indeed.
Well,
All right.
Katie, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and I hope all the listeners have a wonderful Christmas. We're both in Idaho, but we're both in very different areas of Idaho, so I won't get to see you for a little while. But I'm grateful for you in this podcast and the relationship that we've created because of our mutual love for emo music. So this is an awesome Christmas gift to me.
It is. And my dog started barking. I don't know if you can hear her, but we should probably go. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.